Well, if that's the case, then
All right. Welcome to this Wednesday night Commissioners meeting of the Planning and Zoning. Everyone got a chance to look over the minutes from last meeting?
Yes.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Everything looks good to me. I'll make a motion to approve minutes from the previous meeting.
Got a first
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor? Aye. All right, and before we get too far, we have to move some of the agenda items around. 3.1 will be fourth, 3.2 will be third, 3.3 will be first, and 3.4 will be second. And I need a motion to approve that agenda change.
I'll motion.
I'll
Got a
second.
first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right. So the first is the preliminary plat application for Habitat for Humanity on Sherman Street.
Good evening, Commissioners. The first item up since the change is the preliminary plat application for Habitat for Humanity for a lot on Sherman Street. If you look there, you'll see that they're creating two buildable lots out of one. There is one lot has a flagpole that will be where the sewer line for that second house, or that house goes down to the main sewer that gets extended, that's in the alley. The intent then is to split again and build two separate single-family homes on that parcel. The city will waive the plat fees for this nonprofit organization. The county and building permit fees for the home construction will be collected. The building permit fees will be waived. I apologize for that. That should be there. And there will be two additional users then that will be added to the city's water, sewer, and garbage service. Members of Habitat for Humanity are here if you have any questions, or I can answer any too.
And this fits the minimum requirements for lot size?
That is correct. Yeah, as you can see, the one lot is 6380, the other one's 6370. Minimum lot size requirements is 6,000 square feet in this zone.
And this prevents any parking on Nelly, pretty much?
Yep, the driveway one for, we'll call it home, or lot 2 will be accessed off the alley, and lot 1 will be accessed off of Sherman Street, as by the layout.
Is the 10-foot setback, that's okay, isn't it, on that side?
Yes, that's correct.
Because that's considered a side?
All right, off of Nelly Street there?
Yeah.
No, that is our minimum setbacks in that zone now.
Okay.
10 on the side?
It's 10, 10, 5, and 5. 10 front, 10 rear, 5 on each side.
Okay.
So it shows the sewer service. Where are the water services at?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I think they're off of Nelly Street or off of the alley also.
Okay. So it wouldn't be coming from Sherman up.
No.
Okay. Just making sure that it wasn't coming the other direction. I think it's good use of that,
Yeah,
that corner there. It's good for the community, so.
Couple nice little homes.
I'd go ahead and make a motion to approve the split of those lots.
have a first
I'll
and a second. All in favor? Well, I guess, any public comment? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, the second item deals with Habitat for Humanity, just on the preliminary plat that you just approved. This is a public hearing to consider to recommend the approval of TIF number 26. Do it or you want to do it? The City of Sturgis, this is some background information. The City of Sturgis has actively sought to increase a multitude of housing options in our community. The need was first recognized in the development of the Sturgis 2030 Comprehensive Plan. It was solidified in two separate housing studies completed with assistance from the state of South Dakota. Each study identified the vacancy rate of less than 2%. A healthy market has a vacancy rate of 5%. This incredibly low vacancy rate increases housing prices, reduces the ability of employers to attract new employees, and in generally adversely impacts the economic growth potential in our community. In order to address this vital issue, the city has worked cooperatively with private sector to increase housing options. Since the completion of the first housing study, more than 350 new housing units have been constructed. This exceeds the total development in the previous 15 years. However, the construction has been insufficient to meet the continuing increasing demand. The proposed TIF would provide necessary funding to complete the infrastructure necessary to complete the construction of the two new single-family homes on the previous plat that you just approved. The Planning Commission has reviewed the preliminary plat for this subdivision in their previous action, and the project will provide two new entry-level single-family homes. The TIF would immediately increase the total assessed value within the school district, which would increase their annual revenue. It would also increase the sales tax and utility revenue within the city. Once the TIF is repaid, the entire development would greatly enhance the revenue for all taxing districts. The proposed project complies with the comprehensive plan. And in your packet are all the TIF documents. And just some fiscal impact statements for the property values in the area. Is the 40,000, is that the TIF loan? Okay. The original TIF loan will be $40,000 to be paid off by 2040. And the city, I believe, is funding this TIF. Are there any questions? This is just, yeah, just for the infrastructure for those two properties. This will help make it more affordable for the homes, for the owners.
Any thoughts or comments? No questions or comments or concerns? Go for a motion to approve. If there's no questions, comments, or concerns, I'll go for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
At a first,
I'll second.
a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign? No. Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, the next item in front of you is a preliminary plat application for 171 Oak Grove Court in Sturgis. The owners of 171 Oak Grove Court purchased a previous rec lot that was behind them from the owner or the developer. They would like to put it into, plat this into one parcel so that they can construct a storage shed in the back to store lawnmowers, motorcycles, things like that. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Shannon's here and what the property owner's here if there's any questions.
So I'm not real familiar what a recreational lot is intended for.
Alex, you know where my shop is at? Off of, okay. The lot 2E there, that would be my property right there, and that's adjacent and right behind the homeowner, the purchaser. And lot 8 was where my house, where I used to live, exists.
Okay.
That kind of gives you an idea.
Just an empty space then?
It was just an open rec lot that we all just kind of used and shared, and they were able to purchase that to increase their lot size and have room for their children to play, and now they want to build a shed back there, and to be able to do that, they have to plat that into one.
So otherwise you'd have to have the house built on it if it wasn't platted in the, right?
Well,
To have a shed on?
yeah, and technically, the lot, as a residential lot, was non-conforming, so you couldn't build anything on it because it didn't front public right-of-way.
Okay.
It was landlocked.
Yes, it was supposed to be a recreation lot, but they were able to purchase it, and now they want to bring it together.
Makes sense. I don't have any questions anymore. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the plat.
right, got a first
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And the next, or the final item, is the preliminary review of the Davenport Ranch Edition Phase 3. Get that up here on the. The preliminary plat review for Davenport Ranch Edition Lot 2 revised has been presented to you. I can turn it upside, yeah. The intent of this plat is to split the parcel into 31 lots for construction of new single-family homes. Planning Commission approved the zoning amendment back on September 7th, 2022 for Block C of Davenport Ranch Edition, highway service to medium-density residential housing. And this will be the layout that is proposed currently. It coincides with the current area that's being, homes are being built in right now. This is just the next phase. The plat has been presented to city staff. There are several things that the engineering department and public works department have provided to us that we've passed on to the developer to digest some of the notes and some of the things that we want to see possibly added to this plat. So if there's any questions or discussion on that, we have the developers here, as well as Shannon. Do you guys have anything you want to input?
We did read staff report. We just have some questions about, if you guys have questions, we do have some responses to some of those concerns, of course, that I know that we can all get worked out and everything, that none of those are anything really major to us. One of the comments was to add an additional stub into the adjacent property or the undeveloped property. Our thoughts were that, and then also to extend utilities. But our thought as a group was to keep because the intent for the remaining of the property is a light commercial style zoning. So it's whether, the option to try to separate the commercial from the residential. But that's what we wanted to visit with staff about, just to get their input on, if is that a concern to the residential area to have the commercial area access to it, or is it a benefit, to keep those two separate? So that was one of our, responses to some of those concerns. And then also, we're not opposed to extending the utilities for future, but I know at some point, a lot of that commercial, at some point, the sewer is going to start getting directed down Binocker Canyon Road to tie into that sewer system. So I think there's a couple things there that we just work out with staff and department, public works. I mean, we're all open. I mean, like I said, it's nothing. It's just more detailed planning on the commercial, how that'll all play out in the future with all utilities. And if there's a benefit, we're all for it to benefit that, that remaining parcel as part of this phase. So, and then as some of the grading, one of the comments was having a drainage easement between the existing subdivision and where you would see lots 17 through 31, or 21 through 31 come into play. Within our grading plan itself, we have a lot of plans that's all going to be that drainage system. Really, there's a couple lower spots in those, but throughout our grading plan, we plan to address all those drainage issues in there. So we feel that just your typical 8-foot drainage and utility easement would be adequate for those lots. But the lots within our new block 3, which would be 1 through 27 in there, we possibly, basically that section's 1 through 16. I mean, we could possibly have some drainage easements on the back of those lots, but we do have a lot of drainage to fill in there, I mean, within the grading plan. So again, we're willing to, we know we got to get our, the plans approved with the city, so we've got some work to do there. So, but other than that, we really have no major concerns with comments. So,
Do you want me to read the comments into the record, or? Yeah, page 15 of the comments that came from the engineering and public works departments.
That commercial stuff, is that going to be that whole L shape up Pine View and Binocker, or just along Binocker there?
yeah, the remaining portion does, there is a portion along Pine View, and yeah, it's the L shape. Yeah, all the other green space other than the orange area showing, that's what's left remaining of that parcel. And the zoning on that is currently, and I think the intent for the city and at this point is, I mean, I think there's a lot of hopes that we can get some commercial up in that part of town, so. Yeah, I think it'd be a nice blend between the residential and a commercial setting there to. But I know as our group, I mean, at this point, we have no interest in the commercial space, so it's really hard for us to determine, what a future plan would be on that parcel, so. So that's the only discussion, I mean, really, that's our discussion we'd like to have with the staff and everybody, and just on kind of how everybody sees that play out, to make the best plan we can within this phase.
And there's no problems addressing any of these items on this page that the city sent you?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying we agree with all of them, but that's what I'm saying. We know we've got a lot of discussions within our preliminary plan. I mean, I look at the preliminary plan being, it's not 100%, but knowing that there might be a tweak or two. But it's the having the preliminary plan approved is just confidence on our part to move forward, knowing you guys support us.
Yeah.
To a certain point that we can move forward and go with the next step of bringing a final and working with staff and city to get that, the final details worked out, so.
I noticed there's no storm sewer in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Is there enough grade to get that to run to the intersections? I assume that's where the inlets are.
Right. In the previous phase, I mean, the reason for the inlets was there to keep those intersections clear. And it was a main thoroughway, Davenport Loop, within our design, and if needed, Kyle could probably extend on this, but basically after we went over it, I mean, really to flow that down and bring it down, from an engineering standpoint, he just felt that wasn't necessary for
There is enough-
this particular
There's
street.
enough flow on.
Yes, correct, yep,
Okay.
yep.
So this is kind of the current grading plan is up behind you. I don't know if you guys have that on your screen or not. You can see there's the grading to the back of those lots. There's gonna be a ditch that extends through there, so part of the stormwater gets directed towards the back of the lot. There are 2 low points in that bulb, on the north side. There's a red line that runs through there. There'll be 2 additional inlets that go in there, with storm sewer that then kicks out further to the north into a new detention pond that'll service just this. So we won't be taking any storm sewer from any of the existing over to the other side. This will have its own pond.
Right.
The pond's also sized up for that commercial stuff too, so
Now-
we'll have a couple inlets in there.
Where that red line is, are you gonna have a utility easement in there between the 2 lots?
Yep.
Okay. And that's not showing on the preliminary plat,
Nope.
correct?
So that's right through here, right, Kyle?
Yep. That's underground storm.
So you have an inlet basically on both sides of that bulb.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll have 2 low points right there, so the street will drain there from both sides, and so we'll have 2 big open inlets that'll grab that and then shoot it out.
And then there's existing inlets in this intersection, isn't there?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So this will come from here this way.
And they're that way. Yep.
Yeah, that having those detention ponds is becoming quite a bigger issue lately.
Yeah, just ask Box Elder. Right, Kyle?
Yes, sir.
And as Kyle mentioned, I mean, that pond's calculated to handle the flow from the commercial area too, depending on how much, there's a
Drain to that
calculation
point.
of a lot of hard surface in that area to accommodate to that particular pond. So on that next phase, they really may or may not have to add a pond, within the development, but
Just a lot of storm pipe.
yeah.
Well, this preliminary looks good.
I like the discussion points that have been,
Yeah, and
that the
this
city's come up with.
stuff will have to continue to get discussed and figured out, but that's not what we're here for today.
No, we can, we're here to approve the preliminary, and again, that's preliminary. And then we'll meet with the developers and discuss and go over the items that our engineering and public works department have noted on that list. And we'll, hopefully, those things will be addressed or whatever we can work out when the final plat comes to you next time.
Okay.
I think for a preliminary plat, we're in good shape. We're on the right track here, so I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary plat.
As long as there's no public input. All right, we have a first for the preliminary plat
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And if there is nothing else from,
Unless
Fund
there's
review.
anything that the public wants to bring up, that is our last action item tonight.
the annual review,
Oh, that's right.
We do have some annual reviews.
on this agenda.
Let me back up. I apologize. For January 2023, the in-home daycare for Karina Ross at 2544 Meadows Drive. There's been no changes. She's still operating. No complaints have been received. The permit then will be reviewed for another year.
Okay. There's nothing else, no public comment. We'll motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.